Hey up guys, it's the Yorkshire Pudding. There's many types of players in Old School RuneScape, from level 3 skillers who are afraid of monsters, to mains who do literally anything the game has to offer, to individuals who form in-game cults. Yes, you heard that right, but more on that later. And with each account type comes their own set of stereotypes, and I'm going to tell you what your account build says about you. First up we have the mains. Honestly, if these accounts were a spice, they'd be flour. I mean, there's nothing wrong with mains, I'm one after all, but it's like the vanilla ice cream of account types. With this account build you can pretty much do anything in the game, or buy anything in the game. Do you want to do the Tombs of a Mascot so you can get yourself a fang? Don't worry, just go to the Grand Exchange and buy a fang so that you can do the Tombs of a Mascot raid and hopefully get yourself a fang. These accounts don't necessarily look down on other account builds. If anything, there's a sense of guilt when you rock up to a clan event wearing full Torva and a Blood Fury, and all your Ironmen mates are equipped with what looks like whatever they could scavenge from the local shipwreck on a beach. Which leads me to my next account build, Ironmen. And boy, don't they let you know it. It's like the vegans of RuneScape. They introduced themselves by saying, "Hi, I'm an Iron Man." Some even put the IM in the name just in case you missed the grey helmet sign next to the player tag. I mean, to be fair to them, the struggle is real. I've made an Iron Man before and I know how it feels. Every item you require feels like a grind. Not just even the endgame armor pieces. I mean, literally any item you'd usually just buy from the Grand Exchange for a quest. Now you've got to search the wikis on how to get it. And it turns out the item you need is like a 1 in 50 chance from an ogre or some sort of other obscure mob that you've never even considered killing before. So the struggle is real, but they also make sure to let you know that it is at every single opportunity, and that every item they've ever received was gained through their own blood, sweat and tears. Next time I see an Iron Man killing Lizardmen Shamans, I'm going to go to the Grand Exchange and purchase a Dragon Warhammer, go back to the Lizardmen Shamans and drop it on the ground right in front of them, and just teleport away. Up next we have the hardcore Iron Men. I mean, they're just built different, aren't they? Not only do they have all the same struggles that the regular Irons do, but you're not allowed to die. They're there with a full inventory of sharks, Saradon in brews, super restores and karambwams. And it's like, bro, you're only woodcutting maples. Yeah, just in case man, just in case. I don't want to lose my hardcore Iron Man status. So they spend most of the time avoiding anything that is even remotely dangerous. But there are times where they do actually tackle monsters that can hit back. And let me just say, I wish I could trust some people as much as you trust your internet connection. All it takes is just one bit of lag for a split second, for the server to crash at the wrong time, for you to miss a single game tick at the wrong time due to a lag spike or ping, and it's game over. Congratulations, you've made it into one of the many hardcore Iron Man death compilations. Then we have the Ultimate Iron Men. You must go through the entire game without being able to use a bank or of course the Grand Exchange. I mean, why? This one I'll genuinely never understand. The game's painful enough as a regular Iron. Why do you do this to yourself? And I don't think I've ever seen one of these out in the wild either. It's like a rare species that everyone knows exists but nobody really knows anything about because they're so elusive. I'd like to interview one someday and make a little documentary. It'd be a bit like David Attenborough as we delve into the world of Ultimate Iron Men and how they evolved and came to Gielinor. Never mind on the origin of species, it's more like on the spectrum. Next up are the level 3 skillers. Just like hardcore Iron Men, these also like avoiding combat as much as possible, but at least they admit it. So basically a level 3 skiller will level all skills except for the ones that raise the combat level. I don't see many of them around anymore, but it used to be quite a trend back in the day. Their entire account build can be destroyed with just one misclick, or by doing a quest that they didn't realise provided combat XP. I even saw a level 4 once who I'm pretty sure was called something like level 4 skiller. I mean, come on bro, we all know what happened. It's just not quite the same, is it? I mean, I saw a skiller the other day. It was level 86 combat. It was a level 86 skiller. It's time to delete your account and start your skiller again. 1 defense pures. So these were the cool ones back in the day. Their accounts solely focused around PvP. They keep the defense at level 1 so that the combat level is as low as possible in PvP. You'd be walking by a level 65 in gear only a mother could love, and BAM! They hit their opponent with a 62 from out of nowhere. The high damage is almost as if they're overcompensating for the lack of something else. They'll also be the first to call you out for daring to eat in a 1v1. How dare you eat above my max hit? You're supposed to let me kill you. Then when they die, of course, they shout the favourite line, safer. I feel like these are the boxers of RuneScape. hard as nails, but they've taken a few too many blows to the head. But once every while, one of these builds will accidentally do something they'll regret for the rest of their life. They gain a defense level. The pure is ruined. This one extra defense level increases the combat level by 1. That's it. It's over. They can't possibly win any more fights with that sort of disadvantage. Or you could pretend it's intentional, because what you're actually doing is creating a Zerker Pure. You either admit defeat or just pretend that you wanted to create a Zerker Pure all along. You now rock a fighter torso and a berserker helm, and get to fighting all the other guys who made the exact same mistake you did by accidentally leveling defense. So we now all have to pretend that this is a legitimate build and not just the result of failed 1 defense pures coping. Next up is the mum's credit card build. Most account types in this game require an incredible amount of time and effort, but the most effort this guy puts in is convincing his mum to let him use a credit card. He buys all his skills, he bought his T-bow, scythe and shadow, he bought his inferno cape and quiver. In fact, he even bought his account to begin with. You can spot these guys because you'll have a level 98 running around in full Torva and a scythe, and his most killed boss is the giant mole with 14 KC. You ask him if he likes running cocks, and he says he loves it. Then you look him up and see that he's never actually entered the chambers of Xeric. He must not have been meaning the raid. This guy of course will always deny any use of a credit card, but deep down everyone knows the truth. Now we have the gambler. This is the guy who's already blown all his money in Vegas, so he has to get his fix from RuneScape instead. He spends his time at the Grand Exchange giving money to gambling bots and coming out empty-handed by the end of the day, every single time. Just like the mum's credit card build, he buys more GP and does the same thing again the very next day. But there's just one thing keeping him here. It's the age-old saying, 99% of gamblers quit right before the big win. And you know what? His mother didn't raise no quitter. Maths is not his strong point, however. It's common knowledge that the house always wins, as the odds are in their favour. However, how do they make all the money? A game of roulette has approximately a 48% chance that the player will win, and a 52% chance that the house will win. I say approximate because it depends on the roulette board. At a glance, these numbers appear to almost be 50-50, but there's a 4% chance that the house will win over the player. This seemingly small advantage is enough to make the house absolute billions, and the vast majority of players who gamble over the long run broke, or worse, into debt. It's the law of high numbers. The more times you repeat something, the average result will get closer and closer to the true expected probability over time, which means the more you gamble, the more likely you are to lose all your money. Yet these guys just can't help themselves. They remember the one time that they won 500 million, but forget the dozens of times that they lost 100 million. And that's not to mention that these gambling bots can literally log out with your gold whenever they feel like it. Yeah, don't gamble, kids. The Mercher, the Wolf of Wall Street, or at least he thinks he is. He's a big shot. He spends the entirety of the game in the Grand Exchange buying low and selling high. He makes investments into items and waits for them to go up in price, only to sell them at the right time and make a big profit. I mean, a good mercher can absolutely make bank. They genuinely can be pretty good at what they do. But should one of us maybe tell them? I mean, RuneScape's fun and all, but what if you did this in real life? You could get rich, and with that money you could buy even more RuneScape GP and not have to spend your life in the Grand Exchange. I mean, you're literally already sat in front of your computer, you know, the very thing you could use to make bank IRL. One day one of these guys are going to realise this and make Warren Buffett look like he's waiting for his next paycheck. Wall Street won't know what's hit them. The next account type is a special one. As in, very special. As in, a man spends weeks stood in Edgewell Bank eating 500,000 trout type special. That's why he got up one day and decided to create a RuneScape account, purely to consume as much trout as possible. I don't know why I picked trout, it could have been salmon. Also in this category is the guy who woke up one morning and decided to pick cabbages in Gielinor. He picked thousands upon thousands of these things, bearing in mind it was the time before the Grand Exchange existed, so you couldn't just buy them. People actually took notice and eventually started to join him. Before long he had an army of people picking cabbages with him, all on a similar part of the spectrum. This group ended up forming an actual cult called the Order of Cabbage. They even had their own uniform and everything, but then a stew uprising occurred where a rival cult raided the cabbage field by dropping potatoes on it, and they later joined forces with an onion cult, forming the Pot Onions. Yeah, I swear I'm not making any of this up. This is RuneScape players for you. The handicapped players. And no, I don't mean the people who play RuneScape in a wheelchair, although I guess they'll also fall into this category by default. I'm meaning people along the lines of Settled/Swampletics, who locked his account up in the Mortania zone, essentially handicapping his account. He even made a pretty awesome series on it. But I guess this does also sort of fall into the special category as well. These guys enjoy the game that much that they think it's unfair on everyone else that they're having so much fun. So they intentionally handicap their account to make it as miserable as possible. He then decides to become Tile Man. Each tile he uses in RuneScape he first has to unlock by gaining a certain amount of XP. For example, you gain 1000 XP, then you're allowed to unlock a single tile. I mean, it's madness, but fair play to him. Also in this category is the OG Ironmen, the ones who played as an Ironman before it actually became an official game mode. Some people even play the game by not being allowed to take a single bit of damage. Ever. Not even 1 damage. By the way, most, if not all of the examples I just gave in this category have been played by Settled. I guess the guy's just built different. Collection loggers. These guys grew up playing Pokemon, and when they started playing RuneScape they never forgot that they gotta catch 'em all. This applies to pets, useless cosmetic items, gear they've already outleveled, and pretty much any other item in the collection log that they've not yet received. But it's also admirable, because they have set out on a quest that they know they'll never ever complete. In fact, some say it's almost impossible. This is due to the 3rd age pieces being extremely rare, and collecting every single piece in addition to every other collection log item RuneScape has to offer is essentially that improbable that it's realistically within a person's lifetime impossible, unless they literally dedicate the entire life playing the game with no breaks. I guess the most realistic goal to achieve is the Gilded tier, which is where you've completed at least 90% of the collection log slots, rounded down to the nearest 25. For me this makes more sense as it's actually an obtainable goal. But what do you guys think? Do you reckon there'll ever be anyone who completes it? I know someone's getting pretty close, but getting those last 3rd age drops is still going to be insanely difficult. Drop a comment below, I'd like to hear your opinions on this. Next up we have the Lurer. They get off on other people's misery. Some don't even like to play the game anymore, they just like the thrill of stealing other people's hard-earned valuables. They are masters of manipulation, gaining your trust over time, sometimes over the course of months or years. And just when the time is right they'll betray you when you least expect it, by luring you into the wilderness under the guise of an anti-lure. But what you didn't realise is that you're the victim. The best way to avoid these guys is by having no friends. Your friends can't lure you if you don't have any. As a wise man once said, trust no one, not even yourself. Or just don't take your entire cash stack and max gear into the wilderness. That'll probably help. The botter. I've tried interviewing a botter to ask exactly why he spends his time botting the game instead of actually playing it, but he never responded. We now have the free-to-play player. The free-to-play player doesn't even know that any of these account types exist. He's in his own little world, and that's the way he likes it. Rune is best in slot, and if you want to show off you get a nice fancy trim on it. They're like hobbits, humble, unaware of the world beyond the Shire, or free-to-play zone. Whilst the demons and orcs are fighting in the God Wars dungeon, the free-to-play player is killing guards in Varrock with his adamant two-handed sword. Whilst players are doing the epic recipe for disaster questing members, the free-to-play player is finishing off Cook's assistant. Members grow and plant their own trees, fight the Hespori plant boss, or even climb up the towering redwood trees to chop them from above. Whereas the free-to-play player is content chopping willows at Draenor Village. But you know what? He wouldn't have it any other way. In fact, whilst all the other builds in this list are risking the hardcore Ironman status or risking hundreds of millions in high-risk fights or gambling games, or spending hundreds of hours training a single skill, doing all the quests and maxing their account, stressing about completing all the things on the to-do list, which just keeps getting bigger and bigger the more you play, the free-to-play player is possibly the happiest of them all, and all he needs to keep himself satisfied is a rune axe and a tinderbox. So I hope you've enjoyed my light-hearted analysis on the different types of players in Old School RuneScape. If I've missed any account builds, please roast them down in the comments below. With RuneScape being a sandbox game with so many different things to do, there's almost an endless number of different character types, so I couldn't possibly fit them all into one video. In fact, it's possibly one of the things that makes RuneScape so special. Even you, Trout Man. The next milestone is 2,000 subscribers, and I'm aiming for that by the end of this year. So if you've enjoyed this video or some of my other videos and haven't yet subscribed, I'd really appreciate your support. Anyway, I'll see you later.